Hello guys and welcome back again to our second lesson in Foundations of Mobile App Development. Can everyone hear me okay? Brilliant. Okay, hello guys, great to be back again. Michael Dunn here, live from Dublin. Okay, so guys, let's get started. Okay, today we're going to give you an introduction into jQuery Mobile. Okay, this is your first introduction. It's a framework, it's jQuery Mobile, and we're going to do some coding with it as well. So it's going to be a pretty hands-on. Okay, before we do that, we're going to do a recap. I'm going to give you an introduction to jQuery Mobile. Then we're going to download some software. What I'll ask is, you don't need to download the software today. The whole idea is you watch me go through it, and when the lesson is over, you access the recording and you go through it again. Now, for those of you who might be a little bit advanced, by all means try and keep up. But guys, I'm asking you now, if you feel that you might fall behind, don't try and keep up with me. Just watch me, watch what I do, and then watch the recording. So you watch me, watch what I do, because it's going to be pretty hands-on. And then you can go back, watch the recording, pause it, do what you need to do, and you'll get your first introduction to actually developing a mobile application. I'll give you the app of the day, and let's see, what did we do? We looked at apps. Name the other two apps, guys, that we talked about. Okay, the first one is native. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. You guys, do you know what? You're on the ball today. They're flying in, and all the answers. There's not one wrong answer here, actually. There's not one wrong answer. Hybrid and web are the other two that we covered. And of course, a native app would be, we develop for Android Studio. A web app is what we're going to do today. We're going to use jQuery Mobile, and a hybrid app is an app that we can use and we can develop for both Android and also for iOS as well, and also for Windows. I think I mentioned that to you the last time. So we can develop for Windows as well. Brilliant. So next, HTML5. What else do we cover, guys? There was 3 core languages. What were they? Let's see what we have. Yumas, correct. Eric, correct. Ryan, Victor, correct. Michael, Anna, Peter, Keith, Jeff, all correct. Krista, Donovan, correct. John, guys are flying in too quick. Wayne, correct. Taran, correct. Brilliant. Okay, next two, CSS3 and jQuery as well. And we're going to look at how they're actually built into the jQuery mobile framework today. And I'm going to show you where the files are. There's our friend, the Cheshire Cat, as always, and he's watching on you guys and he's steering you in the right direction. What was the other thing? I'll give you a hint by this picture, not the cat. What's the cat sitting on? He's sitting on a scaffold. What else did we talk about? Ah, look, brilliant. We talked about mobile app frameworks, of course. Okay, so you're really on the ball here today, guys. Can you tell me the different types of frameworks we discussed? If anyone can think of them, type them in. Yes, well done, Michael. Well done, Lakita. Well done, Jade. Well done, Keith Carpenter. I used to go to school with a guy called Keith Carpenter. Android Studio is an IDE. I have it in under frameworks because we'll get to that in a later. Technically, it's an IDE. We'll get to that at a later stage. Apache Cordova. What's Apache Cordova, otherwise known as? PhoneGap, exactly. And then jQuery Mobile. They were the 3 frameworks we talked about. And today we're going to talk about jQuery Mobile, because jQuery Mobile allows us to develop web apps, and it also, we use jQuery Mobile when we create hybrid apps as well, and also native apps, and we'll look at that in our later lessons as well. So it's really going to be an excellent lesson. App of the day, guys, what did you think? Evernote. John Scott says PhoneGap is now a Adobe product. Yes, that's correct. And I'm going to give you a little bit of history on PhoneGap as well, guys. So a little bit of a timeline, and we'll get to that in the later lessons, 4 or 5. Okay, okay, user friendly. Some say Tony says mediocre. Keith Carpenter says great for work. It's paperless. That's the whole idea of it. It's very, very useful. Julia says meh. Okay. Jamie, Jamie, oh, going too quickly. I missed that one. Rob Hill says nice. Side slides, okay, and that's a functionality that we're actually going to look at, and it's good that you're looking at it from a developer's perspective. It's a nice app. It is a nice app, user friendly. Shane says it's a native app, not as good as OneNote, says Jan Turgier. Okay. Rui says it's rather user friendly. Guys, good. Okay, the best thing about it is that you looked at it and you looked at it from a developer's perspective. You didn't just look at it and go, what can I get from this? Because look, we're all guilty of it. We download it. What can it do? What can it do for me? I want the best. And that's fine. But we're here to look at, wow, how does it do that? I wonder, is that HTML at the front? Are they using jQuery Mobile to display the images, to display the text? What are they using? Is it a hybrid app? Is it a native app? By the end of this, you guys are going to know. And Esther says it's handy. Well, it is handy because it fits into a hand as well, Esther, and it's pretty useful. So that is it. Okay. As always, guys, are new. And by the way, thank you for everyone who followed at mobile_Shaw. The page has only been set up recently in the last couple of weeks, and already we've got a lot of followers. So what I plan to do is when we build up enough followers, I'm going to start interacting a bit more with you guys, and we're going to start sharing some information and a couple of little surprises along the way as well. So if you haven't already, follow me at mobile_Shaw, okay? Robert says, haha, Irish humour. Sanib, well done. Ludwig says, is there a Facebook interaction for Shaw? There is, and Ludwig, I'm actually going to include that. That's only been set up at the moment. We have our main page, but I want to give you the mobile app page because we're going to start sharing some information. I'll get that for you in the next lesson. Okay, so that's that, and the outline today is, well, we did our recap. That's done. Okay, you guys are flying ahead. You know the main types of app categories. You know the framework. So now it's time we get stuck into jQuery Mobile. But then, when I give you the introduction, we're going to roll up our sleeves. We're going to download the software and we're going to write some code. Okay, there's a lot in this lesson, but what you're going to take from it is very, very valuable. Again, I gave it the analogy, the airplane on the runway. It goes nice and slow, and it goes and it goes, and then boom, the jets kick in. And the jets will kick in about lesson 3 or 4, and then we'll start to really rock. So for the moment, we're going to learn the basics of jQuery Mobile, and we will then build upon that. App of the day, I have another app for you, okay, and questions and answers as always. Very good, Robert. Okay, so introduction to jQuery Mobile. Guys, there's only about, I'd say, 50-60 slides of introduction. Is that okay? I'm joking. We're only going to do a couple of slides, and then we're going to, I have lots of LOLs. I'm only going to do a couple of slides because you were very, very patient last week. You went through it. We had to do that to get to this stage. So we're not going to have as many today. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually go in live and start working with it. So the introduction to jQuery Mobile. Now it's time to get a little bit serious. You guys asked me last week, do I have examples of apps that were built with jQuery Mobile? Okay, and I can't remember the name, but thank you very much for the person who asked that. And yes, I do have examples. Stanford University, I don't need to tell you who they are. They have used jQuery Mobile for their mobile web app. So you can see that it's being used by a very, very large organization. And on the other side of things, you've got, and these are American because I just think Verizon are huge, okay? Verizon Wireless, and they also use jQuery Mobile. So there you go. There's 2 examples. I don't need to give you any more examples than that because I mean, Stanford and I mean, guys, look, Stanford, boom, and Verizon. Enough said. So, if you want to know any more about who uses jQuery Mobile, why not do yourselves a little search, have a look, and you will see yourselves, okay? So that's who uses it. It's a very serious piece of software. It's a very serious framework, and it's very, very user-friendly, and it is absolutely excellent, okay? So, a bit of an introduction to HTML5, CSS, and jQuery within jQuery Mobile. Well, there's your mobile, and it's running the jQuery framework, okay? And you have HTML files stored inside. If you imagine jQuery Mobile as a folder, and within that folder, you've got another folder with HTML5 documents in it. And within that linked are CSS, a folder for CSS and files linked to that. And within that, you've got jQuery. Guys, it's a slide. I'm actually going to show you it live, okay? Now, the UI, the user interface, I asked you that last week. I won't ask you again because nearly all of you got it right. The UI is optimized for touch devices. So that's already done for us. We don't need to do that. And it's just, I mean, it's just absolutely great. Let me just crack on, okay? We'll get to it. Guys, we've done the recap, okay? I've given you a bit of an introduction. I haven't given you much because I'm not going to show you too many slides today. We're going to get stuck into it. And right now, we're going to start working with jQuery Mobile. Then again, we'll do our app of the day and questions and answers. Okay, so when we're working with jQuery Mobile, the areas that we're going to cover today, we're going to download jQuery Mobile. That's the very first step we're going to do. Then we're going to download the software, the text editor software we need to use. Then we're going to create a jQuery Mobile page. Then we're going to create a navigation for the page. Look at where we are, guys. Second lesson, we're going to create a navigation bar. A navigation bar is a bar that you use to navigate to different parts of your web app. Is that okay, guys? jQuery Mobile buttons. We're going to create buttons for your web app, for your jQuery Mobile app. We're going to add icons to the buttons. What's an icon on a button? It could be a little plus sign beside the button. We'll have a look, you'll see. And I'm going to talk about jQuery Theme Roller. jQuery Theme Roller is where you actually give your web app the colors and all the styles. It's a really, really cool thing, and it's a shortcut as well. So we're going to do that. Excuse me. Here's a basic page, guys, okay? You've got your page header up here. You've got your main body and you've got your footer. And I'm going to show you how to create that very, very soon. The text editor that we're going to use today is Sublime Text. I chop and change myself between that and Notepad++, but because some of you guys are using Mac, I'm going to recommend Sublime Text for everyone, okay? A lot of you say you have it downloaded already. Brilliant. It's a lovely piece of software, and it allows you to open a folder, not just individual files, and that's good for us because when we download jQuery Mobile, it comes in a folder. So, guys, type in Sublime Text. You don't need to do it now. I've told you this. You can download this at a later stage. I have it downloaded already. So when I'm writing the code, you guys can then look at the recording. When will the recording be available, guys? You can look at the recording and then you can come back and you can pause. Exactly, you all know it. 24 hours. Brilliant. After this lesson, the recording will be available. So, let me go back. Sublime Text. Type it in Google Chrome and click right here. Download for Windows. If you're using a Mac, download for Mac. If you're using Linux, what do you do? Okay, you know what to do. So that's Sublime Text. That's what we're going to do. And then we are going to download jQuery Mobile. Now, I'm not going to show you a slide. I'm going to show you how to do that because some of you may or may not know. Okay, and that is the required software. So what I want to do is go to jquerymobile.com. I'll actually take a step back. Type in Google, you open up your Google page, jQuery Mobile, and at the very top you'll get jQuery Mobile. Guys, we click on jQuery Mobile, and right here it says latest stable. We don't want custom download, we want latest stable. That has everything in it. Have any of you downloaded this already? Sorry guys, I was coughing there. Okay, some of you have, some of you haven't. Brilliant. I'm seeing no more no's than yeses, and that's good because I'm going to show you guys how to do this now. It's pretty easy to do. All we do is we download, we click latest stable, and there it is. It downloads here. You can see it downloading right here, and that's the folder. Guys, what you do next is you unzip that folder. Okay, I'm sure by now you're taking a mobile app course. I'm sure you know how to unzip a folder. If you don't, I'm not going to do it. I don't have time. I've already downloaded jQuery Mobile. It's what I've done earlier. So when you do that, unzip the folder and I'll show you the next step. Here is the next step. I want to minimize this. Okay, this is the folder that I've just downloaded. Okay, jQuery Mobile -1.4.5. Ignore these two files here. It's this individual file. Let me just drag it here. Okay, so when you download, you're going to see jQuery Mobile -1.4.5, and you open that, and this is what you see. Okay, let me just make that a little bit bigger for you guys so you can see. Okay, now what do we have in here? Okay, we've got a demos folder, we've got an images folder, and then we come across these guys, and all these guys here, when you hover you see cascading style sheet. These are all the style sheets I talked about. Okay, there's also a min file, a JavaScript file for our jQuery, and if we click into demos, we get a huge amount of files. Guys, do you remember when I talked about Alice in Wonderland? Do you remember when I said Alice goes down the rabbit hole and boom, it's a little bit crazy. It's a little bit messed up. It is a little bit crazy. There's hundreds of files here, but I'm here to make sense of it. Okay, that's the first thing. All these files are related to functionality within jQuery Mobile. Here, for example, is a button file. They have created the code for a button already. They've created code for a date picker, where you pick a date on your mobile app. It doesn't make sense because you can't see it. All this code is written for us. We don't need to do it. But what I want to do before I go in and show you that is I want to show you how to write the code, because there's no point in you playing around with code unless you can write it first. Is that okay, guys? And listen, if you can learn how to write code, that's better. Okay? Brilliant. Okay, Michael says it's confusing. It's not that, Michael. It is a little bit confusing at the start, but just bear with me. And that's why we have, and that's why Shaw Academy are, you know, they're really, really good. Is you have those recordings. You can come back and you can watch them again. Antonio, stay with me, okay? We've opened up jQuery Mobile and here are all the files. Let me go back. Here is jQuery Mobile 1.4.5 right here. This is the file that you just downloaded. I showed you how to download it. You click here and this is what you get. Just follow me. Click on demos and you're brought to here. Right click anywhere and create new folder. Just follow my instructions, guys. It'll make sense in a minute. And you want to call this to lesson. Okay? So we've created a new folder called to lesson, but there's nothing in it. That's fine. Okay? This is the jQuery Mobile framework, and we've just created to lesson within the demos folder. I'm going to show you again. This is what you've downloaded. You've clicked on it and you've gone to the demos folder. And then you right clicked here. You said new folder. We created the folder and we called it 2 lesson. And it's third here. And I want you guys to do the same, okay? When we create that, we walk away for a second. What we want to do next is, I've asked you to download Sublime. So I want you to open up your Sublime editor. Remember, you can follow me. And this is what you'll get. You'll get a blank Sublime page. This is what you get after you download. And we locate the file, the jQuery mobile framework file. We go File, Open Folder. And wherever you saved your folder, I saved mine on my desktop. And it's here. Lesson 2, and here we have jQuery Mobile. That's what I downloaded. That's the jQuery Mobile framework file. And we click OK. Is everyone with me so far? Okay, a lot of you are saying thanks. That's good pace. Great. Okay, so let me do it again. File, open folder. And this is the folder we want to open. jQuery Mobile, the folder that we just downloaded. Okay, that's not actually. Let me just close this down and I'll open it up again. Sometimes these can be a little bit funny. And here we go. It popped up in another window. Okay, so this is the folder that we just opened, guys, okay? Now, this is what I showed you. Within jQuery Mobile, you've got demos. If we expand that, the little arrow, you see all these files. And the folder that we created is here called 2 lesson. Can everyone see that? Let me just make that a little bit bigger for you. Okay, so jQuery Mobile, demos, and 2 lesson. That's the folder we created. There's nothing in it. Stay with me. Go down to not assets, not search, not backbone. Go down to button and double click index HTML. Now, can everyone see all that code? Okay, perfect. What we want to do then is we want to click File, Save As. We go back to Demos. We click here in 2 lesson. Okay, stay with me, guys. And we want to call this create underscore page. And we save. Okay. And the next thing we do is, you'll see here, I'm going to explain this code in a few minutes, but we want to set up our page. doctype.html all the way down to the body tag. Copy that. Go into our 2 lesson folder. Now we can see the file we created, which is create page. Okay, all our code is there already. I want you to click, highlight everything, Control A, delete that, and just paste in what we copied. Okay, now I could delete everything, but I just want to do it that way because I don't want to scroll. Is everyone here with me so far? Guys, if you're not, let me know. Everyone's saying yes. Okay, if you're not, let me know and I'll go back over it again. Okay, it can be a little bit confusing. Here's our jQuery Mobile folder. Okay, we went File, Open Folder, and we opened up the jQuery Mobile folder that we downloaded. From there, we opened it up and we went to the Demos folder, which is here. We clicked on Demos and we opened up 2 lesson. That's the folder that we just created. And we created a new file within that. Okay. Another way to do this is to click there and new file. Okay. So let's do that now. Let's create a new file within our 2 lesson folder. And we want to call this file navigation. dot HTML. Okay, so now we have a blank navigation page. There's our create page and our navigation page. We want to set up our create page first. Is everyone with me? Okay, now guys, I deliberately have an error here. All these between the head tags are links to our style sheets that I talked about and to our scripts, where our jQuery scripts are. Our jQuery scripts are stored in a jQuery folder within the mobile app, jQuery mobile folder that I just gave you guys. Okay, so these are all links, and we need these because if we don't have CSS style sheets, there'll be no styling on our page. We have an opening head tag and a closing head tag here. We have an opening body tag, so we need a closing body tag as well. Let me just do that now. Okay. And the last thing we want to do is we have an opening HTML tag here. 2 tags, remember, give us an element. We don't have an element yet. And now we have an element because we have a closing tag. So we have an opening HTML tag, a closing HTML tag, an opening head tag, a closing head tag. And in here are our links to our jQuery JavaScript files and our CSS files. And for example, this, let me get a good one here for you. This style sheet here is in the assets folder within CSS, and it's called jqm demos.css. So if we were to go to the assets folder, you guys have a look at that yourselves, and that's where the file is located. And all that is located within the jQuery mobile framework. Okay, so that's where we are at the moment. What we want to do is we want to create a page. What have we got? We have the body of our document, and everything goes into the body of our document. So the first thing we need to do, guys, is we need to create a div data role. And what a div is it's a container. So let me type this in very quickly. Div, and I have a closing tag there. I don't want that. Data role is equal to page, and we're going to give it a data theme too. So it's data theme is equal to a. Okay, when we have an opening div tag, we need to close it too, and we simply do this, and then we have a closing div tag too, and we'll close it like this. Okay, that's our opening div tag, and that's our closing div tag. A div is a container, and the data role says a container holds something. So on our web app, we need to create a container to hold images, to hold text, to hold data. And the div data role, the data role is an attribute that says in this container we are going to have a page. Does that make sense, guys? If it doesn't, stay with me. I mentioned to you last week, guys, about repetition. Trust me, you will know this. This is your very first time. Don't be put off. Just keep watching and you will be fine. You can trust me on that. So that's, actually I'll move them back for a second, just not to confuse you. So that's, we have a page. This is our page, this is our container. And we're going to put stuff within our container. And the first thing we're going to put is a header. So let's do the same thing again. Div. Can anyone tell me what they think the data role is going to be for a header? I'm actually going to pause it here. Guys, that's absolutely fantastic. Who is that? Glenn and Chris, spot on. Jamie, spot on. No, it's not, guys. It's, for those of you who said it, it's header. Okay? It's that simple. And we close that off, and then where we have an opening div a div for a container, we need to have a closing div, just like that. So now, what have we got? This is the body of our app, okay? Right here, between here and here is the body. Within the body, we have a page. And within the page of our web app, we've just created a container for our header. So what do we need to do next? Well, we want to create the main part of our web app. We've built a page, we want to separate it into a header, a main page, and a footer. You will put navigation in a header, you would put text, you would put images in the main part, and you would put links and so far in the footer. So let's have a look, okay, and do the same thing again. So we go div, data, role is equal to, have a guess guys what the data role is equal to for the main part of our body. The body of our document, I might have given it away. Everyone's saying it, it's main. Okay, and I'm going to give this a class. What's a class, you might ask? I will tell you. UI-content, like that. I'm going to close that off. And we need a div for a closing div for our container as well. So let me just do that. Okay, sometimes these shortcut keys can be a little bit funny. Okay, so okay, we'll just close that off with another div, like so. So now I'm going to make some space there, and this is the main part. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to bring this back, okay, and I'm going to comment our code, because that's the easiest way for you guys to understand it for now, okay. Guys, if you don't know how to comment a code, this is how you comment code. What commenting code will do is it's hidden. It's only for you. When you develop, you want to remind yourself that this is a header, or you want to tell somebody else that you've created a data role. You do what I'm just about to do. Look at the code, you will understand. Okay, header. Like so. And that is how you comment your code. So you can see it there. That's our header, and we've put a comment as well that this is a header. I'm just going to copy and paste that. Close this up a little bit. And this is our main body. Okay. And when we've done that, okay, the next thing we want to do is we want to create a footer. So in the same manner, it's div data role is equal to, guys, what do we use for a footer? Brilliant, you guys know it already. And we'll just close that off as well, like so. And we need a closing div for that, a closing div tag. So we go div. And we close it off. And now we have a footer as well. I'll just bring this back and we'll comment that code. Now, this didn't turn white because I actually didn't close that div off properly. Did any of you guys spot that? If you did, well done. Of course, I'm going to tell you that was deliberate. Now, let me just, and here we have footer. So let me just type footer. Now what we've done, guys, believe it or not, is we've created a page just with that little bit of code, okay? That's, if you click on the div there, you see a little line that says between here, and you see a little line here, that's our page. Within that we have a header. We've created a header, we've created, okay, the main part, and we've created the footer as well. And that's all well and good, but what we need to do now is we need to put some data in it, because if we were to run that, we wouldn't see much. In fact, we wouldn't see anything at all. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, actually, I just want to hold off and get into something else first before I do that. That's, now guys, that's how to create the main body of a document. Okay, that's create page, and what we want to do next is we want to create our navigation. And how we'll do that is, let me just see for a second here. Just bear with me, guys. Now, here's our web browser. It's blank. Okay, you can't see anything, guys, because we actually haven't put anything in. We've created the structure of the page, but we haven't actually put anything into the page. So next thing that I want to do is I want to create a navigation. So what we'll do is I'm going to copy all this code, Control C, I'm going to click on navigation, and I'm going to click Control V. And between body, I'm going to leave div data role page. Everything between your data role page, we're going to delete. Okay, like so, to create our navigation. So now we have a blank page. You'll understand why I do this shortly. Stay with me. So now we want to build our navigation. So what do? We create a div, again, a container. So it's div data role is equal to, guys, can any of you guess what we create first? We're creating a navigation bar. Very, very good. Very good. A lot of you have said it. It's header. You might have been confused that it was navigation. It's not. We need to create a header first. That's excellent, guys. Well done. So we create our header and we close our div off as always. Like so. Okay. And within our header, we create our navigation. And the way we do that is div data navigation. Close that off like so, and we need to close this as well like so. So now we have our navigation, but we need to create our navigation, and how we do that is we create an unordered list like so, and we create within our unordered list, we create a list. Okay, so we'll create a list and we will go AH hypertext reference, which that stands for, is equal to, we'll call this, we want this link to go to create page. Like so. We close this off. Okay, and then we want to close our list off as well. And let me just copy and paste this. So it's Control C, return, Control V, and page. And now we want to put some data in between that. So we'll call this call us, and we'll put some data in between this as well. We'll just close this off, and we'll call this find us. Okay, so when we save that, and let's run it and let's see what happens. Guys, can you see that? I'll make this a little bit bigger. There you have it. We've created a navigation within our page. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, now I didn't realize we're absolutely flying through the time here. We've done navigation, we've done create page, and we want to get our buttons done next. Guys, we don't want to repeat. Okay, next thing we'll do is we'll go File, New File, and we want to call this file Save As Buttons. buttons.html is the extension. So now we want to call this buttons. Okay, and what we'll do is, to make things easier for us, we have all this code here. Okay, we'll copy that in. In fact, we'll copy everything in. Control A, Control A, Control C, Control V. Okay, we'll delete what we don't need. We don't need the header. We don't need the navigation. This is a button. This is a different exercise. But we will put it within the page. Okay, we need to put it within the page. So what do? Button class. I'm going to give it a class as well. Is equal to UI-btn. We need to close that off like so. We'll call it button, and we need to close that off as well, and button. Okay, when we have that done, let's just see. We've created a button, we've given it a class of UI button, and we should now see a button. So let's just see what happens. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to put this within a footer for the fun. Okay, so it's div data role is equal to footer. Close this off, and then we need to close it off here as well. Okay, so we've created our button. Let's see what happens. Now let's just make sure that's our page. Okay, everything's fine. We've created a footer within our page, and we've just created a footer so we could sit our button in that. And if we run our browser, there you go, guys. Can you see that? Let me just expand it. You'll see we've created a button. So we've created a navigation and we've created a button. Is that okay, guys? Okay, perfect. So what we want to do next is we want to add icons to that. And how do we do that? I'm going to show you how. Button class is equal to UI button. And what we want to do is put a little, let me go back there for a second. We want to put a little icon beside the button here, a little plus beside it, just to make it look pretty. So what do? We have a class of UI button, but we can also add more into our classes. We don't just have to have UI button. We can have UI hyphen icon hyphen plus. Okay, and we'll put that plus to the left. So we go UI hyphen icon hyphen left. Okay, let's do that. Let's refresh our browser. Let me just close it down actually. And there we go. Let me just expand this for you. There's a little icon there beside your button. Is that okay, guys? Brilliant. Okay. Guys, okay, perfect. Perfect. That's good. Okay, so I hope I didn't go too fast when I was covering all that. Okay, because like I say, the recording is there anyway, so you should be fine. Like I say, just go back on it, have a look at it. It's an awful lot of information to take in. But what we've done is we've created buttons, we've created an icon within a button, we've created our navigation, and we've created a whole page. So let's do something. Let's put our navigation highlighted here, div data role navigation. So everything within the div data role navigation, within the container of our navigation, we'll copy that. We'll actually copy the header as well. So everything within our header container, we'll copy that. We'll go back to create page. Okay, we'll replace the header that's already there. And now we have our navigation within our header and also within our page. And then we'll copy our buttons. So we want to bring the footer in. So let's have a look. Where's our footer? This is our footer. Control C. Okay, we've actually created our footer, so we just want to copy the button. So we copy the button here, Control C. We copy this into create page. Okay. Like so. Now just bear with me a second here, guys. Okay. Now. Okay, just bear with me here again. Okay, so what we do is we copy everything into the one create page and you run that in your browser. Okay, well, what I want to do is, guys, okay, very good. Some of you saw it. Guys, the header, I didn't close off one of the tags and I've just done that, okay? But what I want to do now is I want to talk a little bit about Teamroller. So what we've done is I've shown you, let me just go back on this again. Sorry guys, my browser is actually stuck here at the moment. Let me just minus that. I've created the call us and find us buttons, and we've also created an icon within a button as well, which is here, and we've also created a page. So guys, what I wanted to do is I wanted to play around with that. I'm actually running out of time, but I want you to play around with that a bit yourself, what I've shown you. And what we're going to do is we're going to integrate all of that together into the one app for next week. Does that make sense? Great. Okay. Perfect. So have a look around and don't be afraid. Another thing I'll say as well is don't be afraid to mess around with any of the files within jQuery Mobile, because guys, you can't break it. Worst case scenario, if you make a mistake, if something goes wrong, you can come back and you can then just download another form of jQuery Mobile. Is that okay, guys? Perfect. So what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about Theme Roller, and also see this error message here. This is a message that's built into jQuery Mobile, and it just jQuery Mobile are saying, note, navigation may not work if viewed locally. That means if you're working on your local machine, you may not see it, but don't worry about that. That's fine. It's just a message that's built into jQuery Mobile. Okay, Eugenio says, is this really live? Absolutely, Eugenio. How else would I call out your name? So that's what we've covered this week. I've shown you how to create a navigation. I've shown you how to create a page. I've shown you how to create buttons. I've shown you how to write the code for it. It takes a little bit long because I actually have to physically write the code, and the fact that my browser crashed as well didn't help halfway through. But hey, that's development. That's the way it works, and these things happen. Okay, I also showed you as well how to indent your code, and right here, which some of you spotted, I was missing the closing tag like so. So you can see there, it's a little bit better. Guys, can everyone see that? Okay. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Theme Roller. What I want you guys to do is open up your browser and type in THE. Actually, if you're on jQuery Mobile, if you scroll down, you'll see a link for Theme Roller, and you can click on it here. Or you can type in THEMEROLLER here and click on Theme Roller like so. And you come to this. And what this does, guys, is this allows you to add styling to your web app. Guys, again, there's an awful lot that I've shown you today, so what I want you to do is have a look, go back on the video, and you just follow what I've been doing. You might need to pause, you might need to rewind, that's fine, but just have a look at it again, because you won't be able to keep up with everything. I've been going at quite a fast pace. Is that okay, guys? Brilliant. Okay, good. You need to look over it, and don't worry, everything that I've done today we're going to do next week, but we're going to be doing it in a different way, because we're going to expand on what we've done. We need to create list views as well. I'm going to show you how to create forms, so there's still a lot of stuff to do. And if another thing, I had an issue with my browser there today. It was crashing using Chrome. Some of you might, when you're using Chrome, you might get an issue. Try and use Firefox if you can. Chrome has settings in it sometimes that when you use jQuery Mobile, it's not the best, okay? So I would recommend, for the purpose of this, to use Firefox. Normally I use Chrome, but as you can see there, sometimes you could run into issues. Back to Theme Roller. Go to Theme Roller and it says get rolling. What we do is we create a data theme, and if you click add swatch, right here it says body, list header, linked list items. Here's what happens. Okay, this D relates to D here. This A relates to the A here. We want to create a data theme D. Why do we want to create a data theme D? Because if you look here, jQuery Mobile has already built in an A, B and a C. We want to create a new data theme D. That's what the data theme is for. Okay? Perfect. So let me go back. And what do we want to do? We want to click D right here. Page. What do we want to do? We want to give our page a bit of a background color, maybe. What color do we want to give it? Okay, we're within D here, and there's also another way to do this. You can drag and drop. So if you want to drag here, you give your background this color. You can also remember this is the background of your app. It's very, very simple. Drag and drop. These colors are bright colors I'm showing for a reason. And then the header. Remember the header that we created? And down here your buttons. Your buttons haven't been given a color yet. Let's say we want to give them a light green. Okay, now that's a pretty funky colours. Normally you wouldn't use them, but I just want to highlight all the different things you can do. And from there, guys, I want you to have a look at this yourself. What we will do is you download, click download, you give your team a name. We'll call it lesson 2 and you download zip. And what happens here, guys, is we have downloaded the colors that we want our app to be. Normally I wouldn't want my app to be this color. This is just for demonstration purposes. This is how easy Teamroller is. This is CSS. This is creating a series of CSS files. And what we do is we replace the files in here with the CSS files within our jQuery mobile framework. Does that make sense? Thanks, Helen O'Neill. They're pretty crazy colors. Okay, now I don't have time to do that now, and to be honest I wasn't going to go in and show you that. It's a little bit more advanced, but next week we're going to go in and we're going to change the color of our app, and we're also going to create list views, and we're going to create a form as well. So that's where we are, and that's what we've done. Okay, thanks very much, Eslanda. Okay. And Maria says it's amazing how easy it is. Well, there you go, guys. I just wrote code and it didn't take long. I wrote a navigation bar in a few minutes. I wrote a whole page in a few minutes. I wrote a button in a few minutes. I added styling to the button. I pushed the button to the left and I said add an icon to it as well. And I also styled my actual app. Okay, I used a template which is Teamroller. There's the colors, they're right in front of you. They wouldn't be colors that you'd use. They're pretty psychedelic, but again, for the purpose of the lesson, it's to highlight all the different areas. And next week, we're going to pull those colors into our app, and we're also, like I said, going to create forms as well. Okay. So I hope that makes sense for you guys. It's now 8 o'clock, so the next thing we need to do is we need to go into our questions and answers. Is that okay, guys? So we downloaded jQuery, okay, guys, and then we downloaded our software as well. I recommended Sublime. You don't have to use that. We created our page, we created buttons, we created our navigation, we added icons to buttons, and we looked at Teamroller. Guys, we did all of that within an hour. And I mean, you've actually covered so much. You've learned how to build a page of a mobile app, and you've learned how to create a button for it, how to create a navigation. Next week we're going to put it all together and we're going to style it as well. That's what we've done. Okay. We've done our recap, we've done our introduction to jQuery Mobile, we've worked with jQuery Mobile. Next of all is our app of the day, and our app of the day is Push Bullet. What's Push Bullet? When you get messages, your SMS messages on your phone, you guys are developers now, you might want to receive your text messages on your local machine, on your computer, on your tablet, on your PC, and what you do is you download Push Bullet and you can receive your text messages, and you also have an option as well to share files, to add friends, and many cool things as well. Have a look at that. It's really, Cindy says Push Bullet is excellent. Cindy, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Guys, very important that next week you come back, because we couldn't get, what I want to be able to do is show you how to create forms, show you how to create list views, and write the code yourself. That's important. We need to be able to do that. And if we can do that, then when we get to lessons 5 and 6, when we get to lesson 4 even, I should say, you're going to be able to, if you don't know this stuff, if you don't get the next lesson, it's going to be very difficult to progress. So if you don't get it, have a look at the recording. try and keep with the pace, because we gradually, like I gave the analogy of the airplane, we take off and we take off.